such a gamble when you get a fizz.
We're still like hungover from the 60s, really, Britain, and we were still living on the Beatles in the great 60s and that.
England seemed to be grey.
And the 70s just wasn't happening at all until punk came along.
And then it turned very black, with great big metal spikes sticking out of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It just seemed the perfect sort of like cult to get into.
The first time that music and fashion had linked up in such a big way.
But we were all bored to death with all the usual clothes. Here was something new.
I'd seen a tiny little clip in, I think, Honey magazine, which said about this shop at the end of the King's Road. I went in and it was absolutely amazing. There was a sort of old hospital bed with a rubber sheet on it. So I sat on this bed and tried to sell myself to this guy, basically. And then about 2 weeks later, got a phone call to say, could I come and work for an afternoon? And that lasted 5, 6 years.
This shop denounced all ideas of anything to do with flower power. A shop called Sex.
Malcolm McLaren and Vivienne Westwood were working on, you know, in their shop.
People who come in my shop notice Jordan wear sort of rather tribal makeup.
And you saw me. Believe me, a lot of people didn't walk further, didn't go in the door. It was very, very unique.
I would go in there like 3 times a week and sort of just hang out. I mean, Vivienne liked you doing that. And of course, then you would meet all the other people who would come in and buy literally anything that she would produce. I mean, I literally had every single T-shirt she ever made.
Well, me and Vivienne created a lot of T-shirts in the early days. One couldn't stand the idea of new T-shirts, so in order to make an anti-fashion statement, it was always to make the T-shirt look as old as possible.
The aim was to use images that were seen as sort of untouchable, you know, a bit sort of like obscene.
Take the Queen, the postage stamp, and slice her head off.
I never saw any of the things that Malcolm and Vivienne did, design-wise, as being deliberately offensive.
Take the crucifix.
The Annika shirt was one of the most interesting shirts of all. I mean, it was the upside-down crucifix with the swastika on top of it. Johnny Rotten used to love wearing that. It was actually one of his favourite shirts.
That T-shirt became the punk rock T-shirt. It represented, I think, for a lot of people, a kind of anti-statement of the culture in a very straightforward manner.
I can't stop to mess around. I got a brand new rose in town.
It's 2 cowboys talking to each other, wearing cowboy boots and not much else.
With their penises sort of like nearly touching.
And then it was wonderful to hang them up in the shop and think, no one in their mind is ever going to buy this.
I couldn't wait to buy them.
Fantastic.
So I actually took the shirt I was wearing off and I wore the cowboy shirt. That's when a policeman sort of swooped on me and said, why on earth are you wearing this T-shirt?
I never thought this could happen to me.
For whatever reason, people started to get arrested wearing the clothes.
Come on, get them off.
They said, we're going to charge you with gross indecency. I said, this is ridiculous. I'm just wearing clothes. This is fashionable at the moment.
You'd normally think we would have to be a bit careful, but one didn't. One just went back. I got hold of my T-shirt printer, and overnight we printed a whole lot more and put them back into the shop.
After that, the police regularly visited the shop. It didn't weaken the stance of Malcolm and Vivienne's designs at all. They were always the innovators.
I think that punk rock essentially created a new way of treating fashion, and London and England actually, for a moment, became the centre of that.